minute just to thank everybody for tuning into 3Gs. The purpose of this whole thing is to go on a culinary journey where you can get food on the table for you, for your family, like mine. I got Miles here, my trusty cooking assistant, in a reasonable amount of time. Sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, but whatever it is, it's a meal that's gonna adapt to not only your needs, but also your family's needs. What we're cooking this week is pizza. It's a recipe that was inspired by another YouTuber, Brian Lagerstrom, and he makes a quick 1-hour pizza dough. It doesn't take a lot of time, it doesn't take a lot of effort. I do use a food processor. If you don't have that, don't worry, you can use a bowl. A lot of the recipes you can adapt like that. But really the beer gives it a lot of extra flavor. It's gonna make it taste like it was rising in the oven for 2 hours at room temperature. And really it doesn't take that long. Also, we use parchment paper with olive oil, which is gonna allow you to get a quick fry on the bottom of your crust and really get it crispy. So make sure you check it out, add your own toppings, do whatever it is that you'd like, but just make sure that you make this pizza dough because it's worth it. My favorite food of all time is pizza. Hands down, who doesn't love it? Eaten it since college, since high school, since middle school, since birth. We're gonna get started with the easiest recipe ever, stolen from Brian Lagerstrom. This is a food processor. We have 350 grams of flour. We have some salt and some sugar. We have some fast rise yeast. If you need more information, the ingredients are down in the description. So check them out there. I'll also link to his recipe. But this is a 1-hour pizza dough that uses beer to give it more flavor. Speaking of beer, that's what I had in my left hand. This is olive oil, 15 grams of that down into the bowl. Now, before you do that, you need to put your lid on your food processor. You're gonna make a mess and plug it in because this is not your first time using this. I'm gonna pause right here. What we needed to do was take the beer and warm it up to about 90 degrees because it was ice cold. You can use any beer you want. I'm using Heineken Light here. Now let's unfreeze frame this and get back to work. That mixer is going to go for about 30 seconds and we're going to slowly stream our beer in. Watch it come together. Once we have this going, if you have any left, drink it. I need to drink because Encanto is playing nonstop in my house all the time. Check out some of that audio here. Bored. And that, my friends, is how drinking problems are born. Now go ahead and flour that surface so that when you drop that dough out, it's nice and easy and doesn't get stuck to the board. I'm gonna have to mess around with it a little bit here. Be careful, the blade's super sharp. Drop that onto the cutting board and you'll see it's kind of tacky. That's what the extra flour is for. Now you're gonna knead it for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending. Make sure you anchor your cutting board, which I did not, because like I always say, I've never been in the kitchen before in my life. Now I've got this dough coming together. I'm about to get out a couple of plates and put it on there. But before I do, I need to cut it. A little bit of flour down on those plates. Then we're going to take out our scale and we're going to cut this ball into 300 gram pieces, 2 of them. Flour your scale as well. Otherwise, this Martha Stewart scale from Walmart is going to have sticky dough on top of it. And as the only felon in this video, we do not want her coming after you. It only rises for about 15 minutes at this point, so you don't have to worry about it too much, but it is important to make them nice little balls. I like that because saying balls over and over again is not inappropriate at all. Now slide that off to the side and let's get back to our dough. Now we need safety first or third in this case. We need to anchor our cutting board. Piece of paper towel with a little bit of water keeps your cutting board in place. Look how stable that is. Don't skip it because you'll cut your fingers right off. Now you're gonna do your parchment trick. I call this a parchment trick because it allows us to cook our dough super easy. Simply unroll your parchment paper, oil it with some extra virgin olive oil, and then smudge that around with your hands, making sure to cover the entire surface. This allows our dough to fry in the oven, gives it a wonderful brown crust, and makes it delicious. If you wanted to do a little bonus, you could add a little salt. I'm not going to because I'm trying to stay as healthy as possible with pizza. Now I'm going to take my dough and put it directly down on the parchment paper. Before I do, I'm going to spread it out into a nice disc. This just makes the rolling process easy, and I'm all about that. Now we're going to go ahead and spread this out with our fingers and cover it with our other piece of parchment paper. Try not to get them stuck together like I do. Now it's time to turn this into a pizza crust. I grab my rolling pin and I'm going to roll and turn the dough. We want to roll in just one direction. It gives you a nice, more even piece of, oh, no, here we go, we're losing it. Yep, it was in a circle there for about 30 seconds and now it's all over the place. Whatever the shape it comes out, just treat it like you're dating in high school. It's really the personality of the dough that matters, not so much the look. And from here, we're just gonna roll it into whatever shape this is, tetrahedron, I don't know. And you're going to then use that to create your actual pizza. The beauty of this is our toppings will go all the way to the edge at the end of the day. It's not gonna matter the shape. Plus it's homemade, gives it character, tell all your guests whatever you want. Just make it pizza, right? There's no such thing as bad pizza. Now get handsy with your pizza and just make sure that it's nice and as close to circular as possible. Now we got our toppings out, and these toppings that we have here are 3 different types of pepperoni, some ham, and then some sausage and cheese. Mozzarella and fresh mozzarella are being used. Now you can use all the cheese you have in your fridge. I have some Monterey Jack here. I got fresh mozzarella, part skim mozzarella. I'm gonna grate that into a bowl and we're gonna make this cheese blend absolutely delicious. Cheese is great for pizza, as you know, so put on whatever you have in your fridge. Blink and you miss it, there's the sausage I talked about earlier. Finally made its way to the party. Now I got my cheese blend together, I'm gonna take this mozzarella apart. The fresh stuff is super delicious, but it takes a little bit of work. Just tear it apart into small chunks and put that on your pizza. It's gonna show up as the white stuff on the pizza at the end. You know, the stuff that's having trouble finding the beat. From there, we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of our pepperonis out, get them on this board, cut them up, lay them out, make sure it looks really nice and good. Small cup, spicy, regular, I like pepperoni. Here's my full accoutrement of all the toppings that are going on the pizza. It's all here, baby. Now let's get our oven prepped to cook this pizza up. First up, our pizza stone. Mine looks really dirty and old. Get yourself a new one. Put that in your oven at 550 degrees for 40 minutes. Now let's get our pizza topped and ready to rock. Pull the pizza dough down and we're gonna go pretty standard stuff here. Put a pizza steel under it. Cut off the excess paper if you don't wanna make a huge mess out of your oven. And then we're gonna go sauce, meat, cheese. If you wanted vegetables here, that's a great way to make it healthier. Me personally, I gotta have a lot of protein on this diet, so I like to load my pizza up with as many animal products as possible. If that's off-putting to you, vegetables, mushrooms, those kind of things are also acceptable options for pizza. Even pineapple, I don't judge here. While we're watching me top this pizza, here's a joke for you. A mushroom walks into a bar and says, "I'll take a rum and Coke." The bartender says, "Hey, we don't serve your kind here." The mushroom says, "Come on, I'm a fun guy." That should give me a subscriber too, right? Now we're ready to finish topping up this pizza, more pepperoni. We're gonna put cheese down here, just all over the place. It doesn't matter if it goes off onto the parchment paper because that's all gonna be protected from hitting your oven, and then a slow-mo zoom. Bam, pizza's ready to cook. Here it comes, all done. 7 minutes in the oven, look at the white spots there. That is that fresh mozzarella and it gives us a great contrast. Now I'm just gonna slide my spatula underneath here and separate it from the parchment paper. Make sure you don't eat any parchment paper because it's not tasty and we wanna have tasty food. Once that comes off, we'll slide it onto the cutting board, get it cut up, and then onto a separate pan. Now, if you look at that parchment paper close, you'll see all of that oil has helped fry that pizza like we talked about earlier, and it's gonna make it super delicious. Pan's ready to go, got my pizza cutter out. Just gonna slice this into your regular 8, and then get it back on a plate, and that is how you make 1 hour pizza with a beer-based dough. It's delicious, so good. Now that I'm done with this voiceover, I gotta go eat some more. And by eat some more, I mean 1 to 2 pieces because I can only have a half a cup of food at a time. So check out my plating at the end here. This is what your gastric serving will look like. It's gonna be small. That right there is what a regular person serving will look like. Give me the whole pizza. Look at the bottom of this crust. Let's get a close up and let's chow down, baby. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please like and subscribe and enjoy more coming soon.